All right, let's talk about the SeaDoo carbon seal. I don't know why, but this is a topic that's discussed at length on the forums almost constantly, almost daily. People consider the carbon seal to be a design flaw or a poor design choice by SeaDoo, stating that it leads to so many SeaDoos being sunk, and that is simply not the case. If anybody tells you that their ski sunk because of the carbon seal, it just means that they did not maintain their ski, and let me explain why. The carbon seal is a wear item, just like brake pads on a car. They don't spontaneously fail. It's almost impossible for these things to spontaneously fail. It's literally just a carbon puck. It's carbon, it's not rubber, and a stainless steel hat that are constantly under pressure with each other, and that's what's keeping the water out. The part that's keeping the pressure is this bellows. It's a very thick rubber that's almost spring-like. So this part here will rest up against the hull, and this part here is where the carbon seal itself would rest inside. So this gets kind of wedged in there. I can't get in there because it's dry, but this will sit inside just like that. And then you'll have your stainless steel float ring, your hat, and that'll rest up against the seal just like that. So when the engine's running, this thing is spinning. That's why, SeaDoos say that you can only run the machine on a hose for a certain amount of time. It's because this is not getting any cooling. So obviously you have two unlike materials being driven against each other. That's going to cause a lot of heat, and heat can cause excessive wear on these things. Running it for 5 minutes or whatever is not going to cause the thing to spontaneously fail, but you will certainly take a decent amount of life off of it. So that's why if you need to run the ski for an extended amount of time, you should either spray a hose on your carbon seal or just run it on the trailer on the ramp where the whole jet pump is submerged. Regardless, just like I said, this is a wear item. It's on you to make sure that these things are being looked at. So every once in a while, inside your ski, you want to take a look at where the jet pump sits, or the drive shaft, I'm sorry. And just look for excessive amounts of carbon dust. This ski is perfectly healthy. There's no carbon dust whatsoever. A little bit of carbon dust is perfectly fine. You are looking for excessive amounts, making it look like someone dropped a bunch of black toner cartridge powder everywhere. If you see that, it means your wear ring or your carbon seal is end of life. And that's essentially just the material on this puck being eaten away, because you can see it has a chamfered edge here, and over time that chamfered edge will be eaten away and you're left with something that looks like this here. Now this is obviously the way this is supposed to be designed, but if you have a flat edge on both sides, that means your seal is end of life, and you could tell just by looking inside the hull. You don't have to take this thing apart or anything. You just look for all that excessive black dust. If that's the case, you can replace the carbon seal on your own. SeaDoo has a tool that makes it fairly easy. The carbon seals, the whole assembly kit is like, I don't know, $80 or something like that. Dealers, independent mechanics or whatever, they can replace it for you as well. But just wanted to point that out. Anytime somebody says that they lost their ski because of a carbon seal or whatever, don't take their opinion seriously, because it just means that they were horrible owners that just did not maintain their skis in the slightest. I mean, it is blatantly obvious when these things start to go bad, and if you're the kind of person who just never takes your rear deck off to do any kind of maintenance, it's only a matter of time until something goes wrong. These things are basically maintenance free, unlike other sealing mechanisms like the Yamahas, which have carrier bearings where you need to grease them annually at the very least. The benefit with this is that this does not suddenly fail. On a Yamaha, on the carrier bearing, if you do not grease the fitting, if that bearing locks up, you can tear your fiberglass apart, you can lock up the pump, you can shear the splines on your drive shaft. There's a lot of stuff that can go seriously wrong. compared to this, you know, if you don't maintain it, the worst that can happen is your ski will just take on water, which is, you know, certainly fixable. So quick, simple video. Now you know how the carbon seal works. It's a very simple design. There's not much to it. Hopefully that clears up some questions for people.